I just think of all the people that, have really worked hard, and, quarterback doesn't throw him to himself. He needs people to catch him and block, and defenses make plays, and coaches to coach, and these are all, great team awards. So
to catch any pass from Tom is amazing, let alone some history-making catch or pass. For him, I told him congratulations, and I know there's many more for him to come. Hopefully he's got a lot more left in him. I'm pretty sure he does. So I'm looking forward to that. And, the next, history point to make for him, I hope to be a part of it. So it was awesome.
It was good to get out there and catch some rocks and go out and make some plays and be with the fellas. It was I haven't played football in I think it was like 405 days or something like that.
Just a good, good win on a short week, and to be 3-2 where we're at 1-2. So we got a huge game coming up, week from Sunday.
I got to ask you guys give each other a hard time when you see someone walk to the podium and one of your teammates is wearing that?
No, you love that.
If you're not Cam Newton,
Come
you
on,
do?
You love that. A little sauce, repping for the Boston Celtics. Their season about to start.
See, what was he trying to show the people?
Got suspended for PEDs. Hey, baby, it's all natural.
There it is.
There it is. I've been in the gym.
Boom,
Bap,
boom.
bap.
Bap,
Little
bap.
gun show action.
This is why you think Jimmy has a strapless dresser. So you can see her ankles? Hey,
100%.
Yeah, you can't hide the
Not
money.
so much.
Right.
What'd you make of Tom Brady and the Patriots last night, Chris?
I thought they were outstanding. And that snapshot of how they want to play is the first drive that they came out with, how they opened the game. Tom Brady going 9 for 9. You saw they got Edelman involved early. They were able to show some of the run game, but then the play action off of the run game, the sell it pass where they pulled the offensive guard, draw that linebacker, that second level of the defense up, create that separation to get Gronkowski involved. So I thought all of the things that they did schematically is exactly what Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels want to do. And then in the second half of that game, being able to run the football. They showed the attempts in the first half, but they got more productivity in the ground game in the second half. And if Trent Brown and Joe Tooney are going to roll off the ball like they did on that touchdown run by Sony Michel, if your offensive line is going to get that kind of movement at the point of attack, this is going to be a dangerous Patriots offense. All of these guys, they're trying to get the reps so they can gel together. But as the season progresses, this can be a special group.
I think what Belichick and Brady are trying to build on the first quarter of the season is they want to have a running game. They know they can throw the ball. They don't think they're going to out-athlete you on the outside. So they realize the weather's going to change. How can we run the football so that we can be more balanced? That's what I see. Last year, we forget. Deion Lewis, now with the Tennessee Titans, rushed for 800 yards last year with the Pats. Now, Sony Michel, a younger, bigger version, I believe that they are going to settle for James White to be the primary pass catcher out of the backfield. Sony Michel, he's going to be the ground gainer. Totally different than kind of what they were in college, where him and Chubb were that 1-2 punch there at Georgia. But Sony Michel was more of the third down, and Chubb was more of the runner. I believe that Belichick and them and Josh McDaniel are going to flip that. We're going to see a heavy dose of Sony Michel, 15 to 18 carries a game. As you can see in the last 2 weeks, that was their recipe for being successful. They only build as that as we go into the season.
Listen, Tom Brady was essentially flawless yesterday. I think he started game 14 of 15, and the one incompletion was a drop on third down by Julian Edelman that hit him in the hands. He played a near perfect game of football, and it's now, we went into that Miami game, I was saying, man, I'm not sounding the alarms yet, but if they lose to Miami, it will be time to sound the alarms. What has the offense done since then? 38 on Miami, 38 on Indy. Now Edelman's back. Gronk is banged up, but that's basically his standard procedure to be banged up. You said before the show, see, if you were Tom Brady, you'd never stop playing football. Man, but if I were Rob Gronkowski, I might have retired at halftime like Vontae Davis. He had his armor popping off during the game. Yeah. He gets just beaten alive. But the offense is now, Josh Gordon's an interesting wrinkle. But I want to talk about James White for a second, because he stayed with you, or you coached him. You've known him for a decade.
Him and Giovanni Bernard, they're very, very good friends. Giovanni Bernard stayed with me at the early part of his high school career because some difficulty, and then he lived with James White. But James White is the perfect Patriot.
Well, that's what I want to ask you about. And is James White almost the example? Because all of a sudden, only Alvin Kamara has more receptions as a running back in the NFL than James White. He's been a leading receiver the last couple of weeks. Is he the perfect example of, if you buy in and you get in this New England system, and you get a couple years to really be fully embrace it, that they can turn, I don't want to say anybody into somebody, but when you saw James White coming up, did you see this type of football player?
I thought he was a pro. He played at St. Thomas. We have St. Thomas Academy, St. Thomas Aquinas there in Fort Lauderdale. They have 15 NFL players, the most in NFL record. They've had that record for the last 5 or 6 years. 40 kids playing Division I. He started, him and Giovanni Bernard started rare as freshmen. Like, we had to play them. We knew they were difference maker, but he's been a program guy. That's why he went all the way to Wisconsin. There were 4 or 5 running backs Wisconsin thought was better than him. But James, no different than St. Thomas. He's a system kid. He will do exactly what the coach tells him to do. He's made himself into a pro, and he's earned that respect in that New England locker room. Why? He's a team captain now. So he's kind of grinded it out. You wouldn't have thought it, but those who know James White, this is the kind of role he played in high school, same role he played at Wisconsin. He embraced that, and he is the epitome of the Patriot way.
Chris, tell me how he went from a couple weeks ago. We were all worried about this Patriots team. We sat here and we said, hey, if they lose to the Dolphins in this game, the narrative has completely changed. It's all over. And now all of a sudden, it looks like they're the Patriots again on both sides of the ball. It's not okay. So they got Edelman back, and maybe Josh Gordon is folded in, but they still have the same cast of characters from a couple weeks ago.
And Chris said, "Be careful with because he wasn't concerned. I wasn't concerned."
Yeah, no, exactly. We called it like we saw it. We knew that undefeated Dolphins team wasn't what everybody was saying that they were, and that New England was at some point going to get back to.
But
the
there
New
were
England
question marks around this.
Well, yeah, but Bill Belichick looked at September as extended preseason, and that's exactly what this team used that month for in terms of being able to establish an identity and how we want to play. And I think now that you have the full complement of weapons that Tom Brady has now, I think that you'll start to see this group develop that chemistry, that rapport. Tom Brady talked about it in terms of trusting Josh Gordon when he threw it up in the double coverage. Josh Gordon was able to make that play. But when you see the effect of having Edelman and Josh Gordon out there with Rob Gronkowski, it opens up things for everybody else. I mean, you look at that James White touchdown catch. Look at what Najee Good was doing. He was supposed to be on James White. He's moving away from James White toward Julian Edelman just because Julian Edelman had been targeted so much in that game. It was wide open on the angle route. But that's what Edelman does for a lot of those guys. Creates opportunities. You keep the defense off balance, and Tom Brady is able to identify where he wants to go with the ball. Accuracy, velocity, gets it there.
Right. You don't believe this is one of the better Patriot offenses, but you've kind of expressed it with the new rules. Like with Tom Brady playing now, there's only a certain number of ways how you can attack him. Like your mode of going after Tom Brady, they've outlawed that.
Yeah.
Right? Like you believe in going through
There is no more cut the quarterback in half. There is no more of that. You can't do that anymore. That's what the defensive line coaches used to tell us when I came in the league in 2005. There is no more of that. You got to do the gator roll like what Aaron Donald does and try to turn off to the side to make sure you don't fall on the quarterback. But with Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, unless you're able to intimidate him with the physicality of the game, then Tom Brady's going to sit back there and he's going to pick you apart. We know that he's one of the most mobile quarterbacks inside of the pocket. But if you don't have the threat of the physicality to throw off his timing, his accuracy with his receivers, there's no chance that you're going to have to stop that team.
That's why C said he'd play forever if he were Brady.
Absolutely.
Can't hit him.
Man, these rules, shoot, another 3 years, man. That's a 15.
Chris, we'll see you later in the show. Coming up, Kyrie Irving said he'll be with the Celtics long term, but should we believe him? Next on First Things First.
Nick, right?
I saw that tweet.
Congrats on the engagement.
I saw that tweet.
I sure hope that wedding happens.
Okay.
With moderate to severe ulcerative colitis,